Hello?
Me.
Hello?
Me.
What is up, guys? It's Demise Media. I just burnt my index finger lighting a cozy candle. First, I need to give a shout out to Kevin Cruz Valdez. I'm sorry, man. I've been trying to give you a shout out on these videos, especially the noodle review videos. So if you listen to this, shout out to you. And in the next noodle review video, I'll definitely give you a shout out there. I apologize. My life is freaking crazy. And for this little podcast thingy, there's a person that commented from A Life This Lovely. And it says, "Great podcast. I hope you do more." Now, this was for my Deepest Thoughts podcast part 2 video. So I replied with, "Thank you. What topics would you like me to cover?" And this person put, I like thoughts, grief. My mom just passed and I'm struggling. So it seems like this person's mother just passed away. Unfortunately, I couldn't imagine that right now, but it is a part of life. Death is definitely, obviously, a part of life. All life topics, thoughts, motivation. Okay, so this person here called A Life This Lovely on YouTube wants me to make a little podcast or whatever you want to call it about life topics, thoughts, motivation. I said, "My condolences for your loss. Death and grief is never easy on anyone. Okay, hopefully I can make one for you soon. Stay strong." So I am currently 31 years old. My mother and father are both still alive. They haven't been together since they were, a long time ago. But I'm very fortunate to have my mom and my dad still in my life. Now, I couldn't imagine losing one of them and how much that would mentally, unconsciously, or subconsciously, mentally mess with me. I'm a father myself. I have a 3-year-old son, and the thought of something happening to my son really, really makes me sad and makes me question life and if there is an afterlife, especially with my son. So my parents, I couldn't imagine losing my parents, right? But losing my son, my 3-year-old little baby boy, man, he's a toddler now, but I think about it. And when I'm leaving and I'm going away from him, whether it's to work or going to see friends or whatever, I look at him and I tell him I love him. And I'm like, I try to be as present as possible because I'm like, this could be the last time I see my son. I could get killed immediately, right when I walk out the door. I can get shot or I could fall down the stairs. You never know. Funny enough, there was a guy that lived next to us in this apartment complex, and we live in California. And he's like, "I'm moving back to Texas, man." And I was like, "Wow, cool." He said that's where he's from, so he's going to go back to Texas, where his mom and his dad are. I was like, "That's awesome, man. Hell yeah, go back." Everyone's moving. Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, Joey Diaz, and Joyzy, right? So I'm like, everyone's leaving California anyways. And he said, "Yeah, I figured that this is him saying, he's like, I figured I'm almost 30 years old. I want to go back. My family still has a few decades of life left in them." And I stopped him and I said, "Or do they? You never know." And the guy was kind of like, "Whoa, dude, you're thinking outside the box." He gave me that kind of look like, and then he kind of repeated what I said. He's like, "Or do they?" I said, "Dude, you never know, bro. You never know. At any given time, man, life can be gone, I'm drinking a little coffee as well. So, a life this lovely also replied with, "Thank you so much." I said, "You're welcome." Now, I just couldn't, like I said, I couldn't imagine losing my mother or my father or my grandmother. But unfortunately, the reality of it all is that it's inevitable. It's crazy to think that one day you listening and me talking are not going to be here. It keeps me up at night. I will have these moments where I wake up and I'm in a panic and I'm like, holy crap. I just have these anxiety attacks of like, what's going to happen after I'm dead? It just comes out of nowhere. I wake up, I'm breathing heavily. It's like, feels like maybe I can't breathe. And then I'm just like, man. And then my mind starts racing and I have to get up and like walk around. I'm like, oh man, this is, And then the next day, go to work or freaking go hang out with the boys or go hang out, take my son to the park or spend time with my girlfriend. And I don't think about it after that. But when that does happen, like usually in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., whatever, it's scary, man. I'm just like, holy shit, I'm all alone. It's dark in here. It's like, my mind wanders. It'll wake me up, And this is totally unscripted stuff. I'm coming stream of consciously, right? Kind of free flowing with this. No script. So, I feel bad, I have a lot of people that I know that have lost their parents, some that have lost their children. That's even worse almost. It's not good either way. But I am trying my hardest to understand and realize that, hey, we are all here for as long as we can be without something catastrophic happening, right? And we're going to return back to whatever we came from, perhaps. That's the, call it a coping mechanism or whatever, but that's how I think. And I'm just like, okay, from earth comes a tree, and the tree grows. And then in one time, it's there, it's alive, and then it's going to go back into the earth, into where it came from, right? I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of hard to explain how my mind works sometimes. But this really, this topic really caught me by surprise or off guard because, I've had a close relative of mine that was very young pass away. I was like 17 or 18, and my cousin was 19. And I'm talking skateboarding together, sharing beds together. He's my cousin. His mother is my mom's older sister. My cousin Sid, the freaking squid, man. And the funniest laugh you'll ever hear is just like a little, like a little freaking gerbil. You can eat so much food, like more than anyone else I ever knew, and still he was pretty small and short and skinny. And just funniest laugh. Very intelligent when it came to like electronics, but not very bright when it came to like street smart stuff in a way. But he was street smart too, But he was the oldest cousin of all of us, from my grandma. And I'm telling you, this was my right hand man. I'm the oldest. I don't have any brothers older than me, but I considered him an older brother. Showing me the ways, showing me pictures of boobs, from my grandpa's stash. It was just my right hand man. We'd spend summers together, skateboarding in Modesto, 110 degrees, and full of life. You always hear that. You're like, oh my God, he was full of life or she was full of life. But it was true, man. It was freaking true with my cousin. You can ask anybody in my family. He made an impact with his little giddy laugh, with his ideas, with his music. He was into punk rock music a lot. And, it came down to the day where he called me, right? He called me on the phone and he's like, hey, cousin, what are you doing right now? I was like, I'm chilling, I'm with my girlfriend at the time. And I'm not going to drive almost 2 hours to Modesto at night, Or he called me like later in the day and I wouldn't have been able to get out there. I was only 17. I didn't have my driver's license. And then he's like, oh, okay, telling me all this crazy stuff. He was having a party. And I was like, all right, cool. And I know how he gets because we were at a party, a little kickback before, and he was just losing his freaking mind. And I was taking Corona bottles away from him like, dude, this is not how you freaking do it. You can't just pop open a Corona bottle and just start chugging it like your life depends on it when he's already wasted. And then the next day after that, he was like puking everywhere. We went to McDonald's to get breakfast. He's like laughing. I'm like, oh, I'm shitting and barfing at the same time. And I was only like 16 or 17. I thought it was funny, but I knew there was a problem there, So I'm like, whatever. My cousin's 19 now. I'm 17. I got my little girlfriend on the side, right? Not my, I got my girlfriend right there. And he's like, come out. We're going to have a party. I'm like, I'm in San Ho. I'm not going to go to Modesto. So, whatever. Next thing you know, it is the following day after my cousin had called me and had his little raging party out in Modesto. And I'll never forget, man, I just got that CD in the mail that I've been waiting for. It was a Rompilation by Mac Dre. It's a Bay Area rap artist with all these dope-ass artists on there. I was like waiting for that. And I finally got it. So I pop it in, and me and my mom are driving back to my grandmother's house, where we all were raised since little kids, even my cousin, the one that I'm speaking of. And me and my mom pull up, and then my grandma's walking outside of the house towards us, and she's looking very, very, her face is red, tomato red, and she looks like she's in distress, and she's crying. And then automatically, that's a concerning sight when you see that. You're like, what is going on? And then my mom gets out, and she's like, telling my grandma, she's like, Mom, what's wrong? And then my grandma, she can barely really speak. She was just like, Sid, that's all she could say. And then my mom got the idea. She was just like, what the F happened? Did he get in a car accident? And I automatically was like thinking about that. I'm fucking trying not to cry right now. And then she was like, he overdosed. And then my mom and her were just bawling their eyes out. And I just took a freaking hike. I went on a nice little hike through the churchyard where we used to skateboard, where we used to play hide and seek, where we used to play basketball, where we used to, that's, what freaking kids in the 90s did. The 90s, boy, going out there playing, no phones, no cell phones. So I just went for a walk because I couldn't handle it. I was like, you know what the F, 17 years old. I just lost my right hand man. I mean, we were kind of distancing little by little. The older you get. I started having my own little thing, like a little job, working at Taco Bell. Got my little girl right there, my lady. And then my cousin was busy with his thing, with his girlfriends and stuff, and music. He was singing and playing shows in a rock band. You know what I'm saying? So that was hard, man. I just took a hike I guess that was my coping mechanism, was to just walk away. And I came back later, and it was just real bad, man. Real bad situation. To lose anyone, to lose any family member or friend or anyone you know is bad enough. But when they're 19 years old and when they overdose on alcohol, on booze, it's like, how do you wrap your mind around that? You know, it's like, oh, fuck, man. It was just in the Modesto Bee and on the news, and it's always been tough, you know. We lost my uncle. Before that, my Uncle Jimmy, you know, and he was larger than life character too. And then we lost my Uncle Stevie before that, you know. So it's just like all these men in my family from the De La Cerda side, from the Peña side, from the Gonzalez side, even just one after another, you know, all these, you know. And my great grandmother passed away last year. It's just tough, man, you know. But just for my cousin being 19, being my best freaking friend, being my older brother, was just freaking unreal. Unreal. And I've had vivid dreams. I recently had one that was just bizarre, and it's so freaking beautiful when you think about it in the time, in the dream. But when you wake up, it's like, that was pretty freaking twisted and dark and morbid. It's like scary stuff, you know. And I'm like, is he able to communicate with me through dreams? Is that how this death thing works? I don't know. But another one was like, we were at his funeral, right? We're at his wake. You know, when you see the dead body and all that stuff. And that stuff is not cool either, man. I don't like that either. But, you know, this was a dream. So it looked just like his real wake when we see his dead body there and stuff. But when we were all there in the dream, pretty much looked the same. He was there. But he looked different. He looked like a couple years younger than when he passed away. Because when he passed away, his hair was shaved on the sides. He had like a mohawk and stuff. When I remember him most is with his curlier hair or just regular short hair. And he had his like curlier long hair. And I was like, cousin, what's up, man? You know, just super happy. And he's just telling me, like, this isn't real. Me dying was not real. And then in my dream, I was like, hell yeah, bro. Whatever, you know. And I'm just like, you wake up from that stuff and you're like, wait, what was real? What's not? Is this fucking real or that? And then you kind of go to the mundane thing of like, oh, I gotta get up and go get that money. Oh, do my stuff. Reality, quote unquote reality. And it's just like, damn. What happened to my cousin? He passed away, but like, that was it. So he was once a person that had a life, had thoughts, had dreams, had goals, had hardships, had a routine, drove a car, had a job, had a band, had siblings, had a mom. You know, I can keep going on and on and on. And that just stops. And it's like, what happened to all those memories in his head? What happened to all the things that he did and everything? What happens to all of that shit? I'm losing my mind over here. These are the kind of things that keep me up at night, bro. You know? And it's funny because maybe... Oh, man. I just spilled coffee all over myself. It's okay, though. Maybe it's something that is not all that bad as, you know, if you think about death, nobody wants to talk about it. It's a very taboo subject. You think about death, no one wants to die. It's scary, right? You don't know. I think about it all the time, and I'm like, man, what kind of freaking cruel reality is this, man? To where we have to die, either in a horrific way or just a peaceful way, if there is a peaceful way. And I think about it, I'm like, maybe it's something that is actually kind of beautiful in the end. And maybe it's the start of something new, or maybe not. Maybe it's nothing at all. And you'll never know. Maybe it's one of my best friends ever, my brother. He's like, maybe some things in life are just not meant to be understood. I was like, God damn, you're right. It's like, do we know how we got here? Do we know why we're here? Do we know why we're conscious? And there's can be a million people that tell you what they think, but it may never be solved. And maybe that's the beauty of it. And that's why I said in the previous podcast, part 2 thingy, I was like, maybe the point of life is just to experience it, just to live it, just to be in it. Whether you're in pain, whether you're super happy, whether you're doing something bad, maybe there's no such thing as good and evil, but it's just kind of, everything is what it is in a way. Maybe not. This is just me kind of rambling right now, but we don't really know, man. And I've met a lot of people that have told me that they're sure that there's an afterlife, and they're like, I know there's something after. And I'm like, okay, I don't know, and I'm going to stick to that. Another thing too is that it's kind of funny. It's me and my cousin when we were really young, like I'd probably say at 14 and he was 15. He had a gift card, like a Visa prepaid gift card. And I was like, hey, we got to buy these penis enlarging pills on the website. I was like, come on. I must have been like 13 or 14 or something like that. And he was 14 or 15. I was like, let's buy some penis enlargement pills, bro, so we could be like the guys in the videos, the porn videos. And he's like, all right. So we go on a website, and he puts in the credit card information or the Visa prepaid card information, all that stuff. And I kept telling him, he didn't want to buy them. I just kept telling him, like, come on, I'll pay you half. I never had the intentions to pay him. That's how I used to be. I used to be a little freaking schmuck. So then he buys them, and I think they came in the mail like the next time I saw him, and it was just total placebo BS, I think. And I told him too, I was like, you try them. And I didn't even take any, I don't think. I was like, you try your cut, and if your thing gets bigger, then I'll take mine. I'm still a piece of crap, you know what I'm saying? So, after that was, I don't think it never worked, right? It was just a freaking get rich quick placebo. It was snake oil, right? These penis enlargement pills from this shady website. So, a couple of years after he passes away, right? I'm on my laptop, or I'm on the computer. I go on my email address, and I get an email from my cousin. And then I was like, wait. I don't even think I opened it really. Till I psyched myself up. I was like, what is going on here, man? So I opened it up, and it was an email from that penis enlargement website. And that was a long time ago. That was like in 2004. And this was like a couple of years, like 4 years ago. So I was like, what? Is this some type of sick joke? Are people that have passed away able to speak beyond thine grave from email? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I really don't know. But I just wanted to tell you how I have coped with death before and how I think about my own mortality sometimes. And it's not healthy to live in fear of death, I don't think. But it's also not healthy to be in super fear of death. Or wait, hold on. I don't think it's healthy to be super afraid of death. But I don't think it's too healthy to be too far into it to where you're just, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you gotta balance it out. You gotta balance it out. Just, it's crazy. I just really hope that when my time comes, that I'm just, it happens, I'm done, and I don't want my family to have to pay a lot of money. That's why I always say, take it as a joke or not, but I'm just like, take my body and burn me in the fireplace for free. Bury me in the backyard. It's not me anymore. It's not Demise Media anymore. I am not there. That's why it's kind of weird to me. Like before, I never thought about it like this. I was like, oh, the person that passed away, every year you celebrate for them and you da-da-da. But that person is probably not there anymore. It was a blank canvas, and then on that canvas came some art, which was you as a person, and now that canvas is clean again. That person is completely wiped out. So that's, for me, I'm just like, that's it. I was here. There's no reason to go pay any respects back and be like, oh, we're still thinking about you as that person, because I'm gone. I'm totally gone. There's no need to respect the dead body anymore. So just, there's no reason to pay all that absorbent amount of money. So it's just like, hey, this was Demise Media. Burn them in the furnace real quick for free. And that's it. It's funny, right? It's crazy. So I'm sorry for death out there for this person. A life this lovely. It's a fact. It's a part of our reality that death is coming for all of us. It's inevitable, but I think we have to kind of look at it from a balanced perspective and have enough fear in it, and also have enough courage in it as well to say, hey, I know my time is short or long. You never know. You could live to 110. And you could say, it's not going to be fun. I don't want to really think about it too much, but I will be courageous enough when my time comes. And I'm not going to know until I get there, but maybe kind of prime yourself and prep yourself for that along the journey. That's what I've been trying to do, and it's not easy. It's very tough. It's easier to just kind of drink your sorrows away or drink your fear away, or, but me, I'm trying to exercise that. Like when I'm leaving and I kiss my son and I'm like, I could not come home. Stuff like that. So thank you all so much for listening. This is, the end of 2020. It's freaking nuts. I can't believe it. Stay strong out there, people. And just thank you so much for listening. All right, everybody. Demise Media. Peace.